crop loan system. It was introduced in the year 1965 throughout the country. 1965 में crop loan system इंडिया में introduce हो गया. The twin objectives of crop loan system are first, treating the crop as security instead of immovable property like land. क्रॉप लोन सिस्टम से पहले क्या होता था, फॉर फार्मर्स अगर कोई लोन ले रहा है तो उन्हें लैंड एज अ सिक्योरिटी रखना पड़ता था, लेकिन क्रॉप लोन सिस्टम में क्रॉप को एज अ सिक्योरिटी कंसीडर किया जाता है, ना कि लैंड को. सेकेंड वॉज द फिक्सिंग द स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस डिपेंडिंग ऑन द एक्चुअल फार्म एक्सपेंडिचर. एक्चुअल फार्म एक्सपेंडिचर कितना है उससे स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस फिक्स करना. स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस मतलब एक क्रॉप के लिए कितने लोन, उसका कॉस्ट ऑफ कल्टीवेशन कितना है एक क्रॉप का उस एरिया में, और उसके लिए कितना लोन फार्मर्स को रिक्वायर्ड होगा, तो उसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं, तो उसे हम स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस करते हैं. Now this is the fixing the scale of finance depending upon the actual, जो भी एक्चुअल फार्म एक्सपेंडिचर है उसके ही आधारित पे स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस ना, जिससे क्या होगा कि जो भी लोन फार्मर्स को मिलेगा वो ना ही कम होगा ना ही बहुत ज्यादा होगा, वो एक्चुअली उसके रिक्वायरमेंट के अनुसार होगा. देन साइलेंट फीचर्स ऑफ द क्रॉप लोन सिस्टम. The first was the credit requirement of the farmers are to be estimated based on the cost of cultivation of the crops cultivated by them. Now credit requirement, farmers को लोन कितनी जरूरी है वो किस पे आधारित पे कैलकुलेट किया जाता था, cost of cultivation of the crops which the farmer cultivates. So because of this the farmers got the exact amount of loan required, not less not more. The eligibility to receive the loan by the farmer is not measured by the ownership of land, but the fact that he is real farmer who needs credit for cultivation. एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया क्रॉप लोन सिस्टम में ये नहीं रखी थी कि वो एक फार्मर की लैंड, वो कितने लैंड ओन करता है, बल्कि ये रखी थी कि वो एक्चुअली एक रियल फार्मर है और जिसे कल्टीवेशन के लिए लोन की जरूरत है. सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस द एलिजिबिलिटी वाज eligibility to receive the loan of the farmer was measured. Third was the crop loans should have be advanced on the hypothecation of the crop. That is, crop यहाँ securities act करेगा ना कि land. So crop based on the taking crop as the security, loan will be given to the farmers. Next, the disbursement and recovery of loans are to be made in accordance with the crop production schedule. लोन एक ही बार में टोटल अमाउंट नहीं दी जाती है फार्मर्स को, एक फेजेस में दिया जाता है. मतलब अगर पहले स्टार्टिंग में इनपुट्स परचेज करने के लिए कितना क्रेडिट चाहिए तो उतना पहले देते हैं, बाद में इंटर कल्टीवेशन एक्टिविटीज या मिड पीरियड में फर्टिलाइजर स्प्रेइंग लेने के लिए वो उसके लिए लोन देते हैं, और लास्ट फाइनल हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए. So based on the schedule of production schedule of the crop, loan is disbursed and also the recovery. लोन की रीपेमेंट जो होती है वो फार्मर्स का क्रॉप हार्वेस्ट होके मार्केट होने के बाद उसे रिकवर किया जाता है. सो डिस्बर्समेंट एंड रिकवरी आर बोथ मेड अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रोडक्शन शेड्यूल. द लोन शुड बी इंक्लूडेड बोथ कैश एंड काइंड कंपोनेंट्स. यहाँ पे कैश भी दिया जाता था एज अ लोन एंड इवन काइंड, जो भी इनपुट्स रिक्वायर्ड थे लाइक फर्टिलाइजर, सीड्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स, केमिकल्स, जो भी इनपुट्स लगते थे वो प्रोवाइड करते थे बैंक्स. सो एंड ऑल्सो इन कैश. द क्वांटम ऑफ लोन शुड बी फिक्स्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू द वैरायटी, दैट इज लोकल और इम्प्रूव्ड और हाई यील्डिंग वैरायटी, the season in which it is grown and the type of crop, that is whether it is irrigated or rain-fed crop. So quantity of loan जो farmers को देंगे वो different criteria पे depend होगी. पहले तो variety पे, whether it is local or improved variety, season रबी, खरीफ, summer, or whether it is cultivated in irrigated area or rain-fed area. Now crop loan is fixed by the district level technical committee consisting of experts from field of agriculture, animal husbandry and banking. क्रॉप लोन जो कितने किस क्रॉप के लिए कितना लोन दिया जाना चाहिए ये कौन फिक्स करता है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल टेक्निकल कमेटी. और इस कमेटी में एक्सपर्ट्स फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर, एनिमल हस्बेंड्री एंड बैंकिंग, ये सारे लोग मिलके क्रॉप लोन फिक्स करते हैं कि किस क्रॉप के लिए कितना लोन देना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट इज स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस. It is indicative cost taken as base cost depending upon which the amount of to be financed for the farmer is fixed. फार्मर्स को कितना लोन देना चाहिए उसे किसके आधारित पे फिक्स किया जाता है, बेस्ड ऑन द स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस. सो स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस ये कॉस्ट है, एक बेस कॉस्ट that is for a crop cultivation, this is the minimum cost of cultivation for a particular crop in a particular area, and depending on the scale of finance, the amount to be given as loan for the farmers is fixed. The scale of finance is given in a range as cost of cultivation for farmer practicing traditional method of farming and that of progressive farmers practicing modern method differs. The scale of finance exact amount नहीं देखती कि cost of cultivation for so and so crop is 1000 rupees per hectare. So not like that, but actually it is given as range 1000 to 1500 because farmers who are practicing cultivation, that it differs. That is, some farmers follow the traditional method of cultivation, some progressive farmers they follow modern methods. So depending on this, the cost of cultivation will change. Now the lower value of range correspond to requirement of farmer, that is farmer practicing the traditional methods, while the upper value corresponds to the progressive farmer who is practicing the modern methods of cultivation. The scale of finance is fixed for annual, perennial crops and livestock also. हर एक क्रॉप के लिए एनुअल जो क्रॉप है, पेरेनियल क्रॉप्स एंड लाइवस्टॉक को हर एक को स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस फिक्स की जाती है. In case of livestock will have fixed cost of finance as they are termed as unit cost. The unit varies with the type of livestock. For example, for milch cattle, the unit refers to 2 animals. So, in case of livestock, the scale of finance is fixed. Now, factors influencing the scale of finance. Scale of finance calculate करने में कौन से factors influence करते हैं? पहले तो type of crop. It varies from crop to crop. Even in a single crop, we depend on the variety also. So, from crop to crop, there is different scale of finance. Second is the nature of crop. Within the same crop, between the improved varieties and high yielding varieties, scale of finance differs. Then season. Also, in which season the crop is cultivated. For same crop, if they are cultivated in different season, scale of finance will change. Type of land, that is whether it is irrigated or dry land. Based on rainfed land, based on that also scale of finance will differ. And also last is the area, district or area. For same crop, the scale of finance varies from district to district. So these are the factors which influence the scale of finance. Next, how the scale of finance is fixed. The scale of finance is fixed for each district by a committee known as District Level Technical Committee, that is DLTC. This committee will fix scale of finance for each district. For a district, whole district scale of finance is calculated. The members of DLTC constitute of representative of lead bank of the district. उस बैंक के lead bank जो होगी उस district की, उसका एक representative होगा, NABARD का एक representative होगा, local cooperative banks and commercial banks, officials from Department of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. So these are the members of the district level technical committee. The meetings of DLTC is changed by the district magistrate or district collector and conveyed by the respective lead bank district manager. जो भी मीटिंग्स होते हैं इस कमेटी के, उसके चेयरपर्सन डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट या डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर होते हैं. Now DLTC compiles technical survey report with the information obtained from NABARD. NABARD interns obtain information from State Agriculture Department every year, which will have necessary details like what are the crops grown, their extent, etc. So जो भी टेक्निकल सर्वे रिपोर्ट्स है NABARD के यहाँ से, वो सारे डाटा DLTC कंपाइल करते हैं to calculate the scale of finance. And in return, this NABARD will take the data from State Agriculture Department every year, which will have the necessary data like जिसमें क्रॉप्स, उस एरिया के क्रॉप ग्रोन कितने हैं, कितना एरिया में कितना क्रॉप स्प्रेड है, वो सारे डाटा होता है उसमें. Then by using the details, a potential map is prepared. Now based on the details of which crop is cultivated, what is the area of that crop in that district, based on such data, potential map मतलब फार्मर्स को कहाँ लोन की जरूरत होती है, लोन पोटेंशियल किस वक्त फार्मर को ज्यादा जरूरत है, उसकी डिटेल में एक पोटेंशियल मैप प्रिपेयर किया जाता है. By using this, one can list out the priority sectors to be financed in each part of district and extent to which these are to be financed. ना ही सिर्फ फार्मर्स के लिए, अदर एजेंसीज के लिए भी हर एक एक्टिविटी में प्रायोरिटी एक्टिविटी कौन सी और किस पार्ट के लिए कितना लोन चाहिए होगा, वो सारे यहाँ पे डिसाइड होता है. Finally, cost of cultivation is estimated based on the market trends and need. This scale of finance is not fixed and keeps on changing every year. Every year ये scale of finance change होता रहता है और ये based on cost of cultivation fix किया जाता है on the, and also on the market trends and needs. Next scheme was the Kisan Credit Card. Now, Government of India introduced Kisan Credit Card scheme in 1988-99. The scheme was designed by NABARD. KCC, that is Kisan Credit Card, aims at adequate and timely support from banking system to farmers for their short-term production credit needs in cultivation of crops, purchase of inputs, etc. in a flexible and cost-effective manner. तो क्रॉप लोन सिस्टम में क्या होता था कि फेज डिस्बर्समेंट होता था, तो हर एक बार उन्हें लोन नेक्स्ट फेज ऑफ लोन लेने के लिए बैंक जाना पड़ता था फार्मर्स को। तो इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ने 1998-99 में क्या किया, किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड वो फार्मर्स को दिया, जो भी लोन ले रहे थे उनके पास किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड केसीसी अकाउंट रहता है, तो और उस अकाउंट में लोन अमाउंट फुल क्रेडिट किया जाता है और फार्मर एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट दे विल विड्रॉ द मनी फ्रॉम द ATM. सो शॉर्ट टर्म नीड्स लाइक परचेज ऑफ इनपुट्स या कई अगर अर्जेंट नीड हुआ तो और नेक्स्ट फ्यूचर पेमेंट में जो भी फेस डिसबर्समेंट है वो सारा मनी उनके अकाउंट में रहता है, लेकिन वो टाइम टू टाइम ATM से निकालते रहते। Under this scheme, the farmer would issue a credit card cum passbook incorporating the name, address, particulars of land holding, borrowing limit, validity period, and it will be served both as identity card as well as facilitates the financial transaction. So ये ATM कार्ड और पासबुक दोनों भी दिया जाता था जिसमें फार्मर्स के सारे डिटेल्स रहते थे और बोरोइंग लिमिट क्या है, उसकी वैलिडिटी पीरियड क्या है, ये भी मेंशन किया जाता था। और वो जो कार्ड है किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड वो एज ए ATM कार्ड एंड ऑल्सो एज ए आइडेंटिटी कार्ड, दोनों it was equal to both identity card and the credit card. Now, credit limit on the card may be fixed on the basis of operational holding, cropping pattern, scale of finance as recommended by DLTC or state level technical committee. So, credit limit हर एक कार्ड का क्रेडिट लिमिट उस फार्मर के ऑपरेशनल होल्डिंग मतलब उसकी लैंड ओन कितनी है, उसके क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न और स्केल ऑफ फाइनेंस, इन तीन चीजों पर बेस पे रख के क्रेडिट लिमिट फिक्स किया जाता था। Now, as per recommendation of Shri R.V. Gupta committee in the year 1998 on the flow of credit of agriculture sector, apart from total credit need, 20% of total peak level credit requirement will be contingent credit need, that is with maximum ceiling of 10,000 rupees. So this is the recommendation of R.V. Gupta, that is 20% of total peak level credit requirement will be given in the contingent credit need. Now the KCC should normally valid up to 3 years and subject to annual review. KCC जो है वो 3 years के लिए valid होता है और annually उसका review होता है। The KCC will be considered as a non-performing asset if it remains inoperative for period of 2 successive crop seasons. अगर 2 successive crop season में KCC account का कोई transaction नहीं हुआ तो उसे non-performing assets ऐसे माना जाता है। Next, schemes for financing the weaker sections. First scheme was the differential rate of interest, that is DIR. On the recommendation of RBI committee under chairmanship of B.K. Hazare, the Ministry of Finance and Government of India instructed all the public sector commercial banks to introduce differential rate of interest scheme, that is DIR scheme. So B.K. Hazare committee has recommended the DIR scheme. In this scheme, the public sector commercial banks, जो भी public sector commercial banks हैं, उन्हें एक differential rate of interest scheme introduce की गई. So all commercial bank under public sector implemented DIR schemes since 1975 and private banks also volunteered to participate the scheme from 1977 onwards. Private banks में 1977 में आया और public banks में 1975. So under this scheme, loans are being extended to weaker sections of the society who do not possess tangible assets to put as security at the concessional rate of 4% per annum. Weaker section of society जिनके पास security रखने के लिए कुछ नहीं होता, उन्हें लोन दिया जाता है at very concessional rate, that is 4% rate of interest. The DIR loans are covered by Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. Under DIR scheme, the loans are extended to marginal farmers and agriculture laborers, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes engaged in agriculture, people having rural and cottage industry, indigenous students having the higher education. So for these all DIR loan scheme is extended. From 1981 onwards, the bank were allowed to give their advance under DIR scheme through RRBs के थ्रू भी DIR scheme implement किया 1981 से in the area of operation of refinance basis, and these advances will be kept under the lending account of respective sponsoring bank. The size of the borrower's holding should not exceed, under this scheme उन्होंने क्राइटेरियाज क्या रखा था, the size of borrower's holding should not exceed 1 acre of wetland and 2.5 acres of dry land. This is the eligibility criteria for DIR scheme. The family income of the borrower should not exceed 24,000 per annum in urban, and in semi-urban areas it is 18,000, and in rural areas as per the provision in urban and semi-urban it is 24,000 per annum, whereas in rural areas it is 18,000 per annum as per the revision of 2008-9. However, the restriction on the loan amount are relaxed for person belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The commercial banks are required to advance 0.5 to 1% of their aggregate lending towards this scheme, and 40% of total amount available under the scheme should be made available for SC/ST borrowers. So total lendings में से टोटल जो बैंक लेंड करते हैं उसमें से 0.5 to 1% ऑफ एग्रीगेट लेंडिंग शुड बी फॉर द स्कीम, एंड ऑल्सो 40% ऑफ टोटल अमाउंट जो भी अवेलेबल है इस स्कीम के लिए उसके 40% जो है वो SC और ST बोरोवर्स को होगा. During April 1983, the task force was appointed to examine various provisions of DIR scheme. As per the task force recommendation, Government of India decided the DIR scheme, IRDP and self-employment program for the urban poor would be mutually exclusive. That is, if person is assisted under IRDP or SC, that is self-employment program, will not be eligible for benefits under the DIR scheme. इस तीनों स्कीम में सिर्फ ये एक ही स्कीम में he can take the benefits of only one scheme, not all the schemes. Therefore, DIR scheme is measured to attain social justice as it safeguards the interest of the weaker sections of the society. Second was the Integrated Rural Development Program, that is IRDP. The most of the programs aimed in improving economic conditions of rural poor but did not create the expected impact. तो जो भी प्रोग्राम्स पहले आए थे उसमें इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस जो है रूरल पुअर की वो इम्प्रूव करना यही मेन एम था, लेकिन वो अपने एक्सपेक्टेड इम्पैक्ट नहीं मिला उन स्कीम्स का बिकॉज ऑफ सम रीजंस लाइक नन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम्स कवर्ड द एंटायर कंट्री को कोई प्रोग्राम ने कवर नहीं किया. फ्रीक्वेंट ओवरलैपिंग ऑफ स्कीम्स इन सेम एरिया एंड लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन अमंग द इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी. पहले तो हर फुल एंटायर कंट्री के लिए स्कीम नहीं आई थी, रीजन वाइज स्कीम आए थे. तो और फ्रीक्वेंट जो भी स्कीम से सेम एरिया में ओवरलैप हो रहे थे और लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन बिटवीन द इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी. Hence, Government of India has decided to replace all these programs with one single integrated program in 1978-79. So, government ने क्या डिसाइड किया, जो भी प्रोग्राम्स है वीकर सेक्शन के लिए या रूरल डेवलपमेंट के वो सारे रिप्लेस करके एक ही इंटीग्रेटेड प्रोग्राम एस्टेब्लिश करें विद द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ first elimination of poverty and unemployment in rural areas. This is the first objective, and second objective is the rural development. Now this program was named as the Integrated Rural Development Program. Basically it is an action oriented and time bound program. Now under IRDP existing programs like SFDA, that is Small Farmer Development Agency, Marginal Farmer and Agriculture Laborers Development Agency, Drought Prone Area Program, CADA, National Rural, that is Employment Program, and TRISEM, that is Training for Rural Youth for Self-Employment. These all programs have merged to form the IRDP. Now the IRDP scheme is funded by the central government and state government in 50-50 ratio. It is also called as anti-poverty program. Under this program, in addition to small and marginal farmers, agriculture labor, landless agriculture workers, artisan, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, other families living below the poverty line are also covered in the IRDP. The specific objectives of IRDP were: first is increasing the productivity of land by providing the needed inputs in required quantities at right time, thereby the raising the productivity and production in the agriculture. जो भी इनपुट रिक्वायरमेंट थी वो सारी राइट टाइम में राइट क्वांटिटी में प्रोवाइड करना, ये ऑब्जेक्टिव था. सेकेंड, क्रिएटिंग द टेंजिबल एसेट्स फॉर रूरल पुअर टू इंप्रूव देयर इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस. Third, augmenting the resources and income levels of weaker section. Then diversifying agriculture through poultry, dairy, fishery, जो allied agriculture activities है उनके लिए promote करना है. And provide infrastructure facilities like processing, storage, organized marketing, milk chilling and collection center, artificial insemination centers, like this. All infrastructure facilities for these all small scale, like मिल्क चिलिंग सेंटर और कलेक्शन सेंटर्स, जो भी उसके लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटीज, मशीन्स, इक्विपमेंट्स लगते थे वो सारे प्रोवाइड करना. दिस वाज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ IRDP. Now, identification of beneficiaries. Who are the beneficiary of these schemes? Those people living below poverty line are eligible to be covered under this program. Apart from small and marginal farmers, agriculture and non-agriculture laborers, rural artisans, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe family. So जो भी फैमिली बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन है वो इस प्रोग्राम के लिए एलिजिबल थी. Now each bank branch should finance IRDP scheme in villages falling under its service area. So एक बैंक है उसके सर्विस एरिया में उन्होंने फाइनेंस करना है फॉर IRDP scheme. Now purpose of advance under IRDP. The three major kind of activities capable of income generation on continuous basis have been selected for targeted families. जो भी targeted families है उनके लिए इनकम जनरेशन एक्टिविटीज सिलेक्ट किया. पहले तो प्राइमरी सेक्टर में एक्टिविटीज लाइक एग्रीकल्चर, एनिमल हस्बेंड्री, फिशरीज, फार्म फॉरेस्ट, these were the from primary sector. From secondary sector, khadi and village industry, handlooms, pottery were included, and in tertiary sector, transport, small business, other activities like tailoring, workshop, these were included under IRDP. Now, who is the implementing agency of IRDP? At national level, IRDP is administered by Ministry of Rural Development. The states and union territories have set up the bodies known as DRDA, that is District Rural Development Agency. So now DRDA identifies the beneficiaries, draw up the income generating projects for them and brings them into contact with the banks. Now DRDA is the implementing agency at district level. DRDA provides capital subsidy to identified families and supply the list of such families along with suggested economic activities to the financing institution for extending loan assistance. So जो भी families है उनकी बेनिफिशियरी है उनकी लिस्ट बना के उन्हें provides DRDA provides capital subsidies to the families which are identified and also supply this list to the banks so that they can extend the loan to these people. Now DRDA also ensures backward linkage. Backward linkage means supply of inputs, and forward linkage it is related to marketing of produce, that is processing facility, marketing arrangements in respect of proposed economic activities. Now in this subsidies, the subsidy in case of small farmer is 25%. IRDP में small farmers को 25% subsidy, while in case of marginal and agriculture labor 33.33%, and for scheduled tribe 50%. So this is the subsidy given by the government under IRDP. Next scheme was the Ganga Kalyan Yojana. The central government sponsored this scheme and it launched in the year 1997. The objective was to provide, as the name Ganga Kalyan, to provide irrigation through exploitation of groundwater by tube wells and bore wells to individual as well as group of beneficiaries belonging to target group, that is small and marginal farmers falling below the poverty line. जो भी farmers को individually वो borewell dig नहीं कर सकते थे उनके लिए वो loan provide करते थे. That is, this scheme is related to irrigation through exploitation of groundwater के use करने से irrigation बढ़ाना, ये इस scheme का objective था. Next is the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swazrogar Yojana, that is SGSY. It is an ambitious program launched by Government of India on 1st April 1999 for poverty alleviation through self-employment. Poverty alleviation through self-employment is the objective of SGSY. It is the holistic program covering all aspects of self-employment such as organization of poor into self-help group, training, credit, टेक्नोलॉजी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड मार्केटिंग. जो भी सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट लोगों को सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड करने के लिए जो भी एक्टिविटीज कर सकते थे वो सारे इस स्कीम में आए थे. इट रिप्लेसेस अर्लियर पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन प्रोग्राम दैट इज इंटीग्रेटेड रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम IRDP, then training of TRISEM, development of women and children rural, that is DWCRA. So these all schemes were replaced by Swarna Jayanti Gram Swaraj Yojana. SGSY places emphasis on group financing for poverty alleviation by organizing rural poor into self-help group. SGSY में ज़्यादा प्रेफरेंस सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप को दिया जाता था. The objective is to bring poor families above the poverty line. जो भी बिलो थे उन्हें above the poverty line लाना उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव है. By providing them income generating assets through mix of bank credit and government subsidies, by ensuring appreciable sustained level of income over a period of time. तो यहाँ पे जो भी फैमिली पुअर फैमिलीज थे बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन उन्हें अबो पॉवर्टी लाइन न लाना है और उन्हें इनकम जनरेटिंग असेट्स प्रोवाइड करना है विद द हेल्प ऑफ बैंक एंड appreciate the sustainable so that they can earn the sustainable level of income over the period of time. Now the target group under SGSY consists of all families below the poverty line. SGSY it is providing training on basic orientation and skill development, critical infrastructure facilities, revolving fund and credit linked subsidies to self-help group and individuals. यहाँ पे बेसिक ट्रेनिंग एंड स्किल डेवलपमेंट पे भी SGSY काम करते थे. द की एक्टिविटीज एंड द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट आर डेयरी डेवलपमेंट. उन्होंने इस स्कीम के थ्रू डेयरी डेवलपमेंट, फिशरीज, वेजिटेबल ग्रोइंग, वेंडिंग, केन एंड बैम्बू वर्क, अगरबत्ती, आर्टिस्टिक, पोएट्री, पिकल्स. दीज आर द एक्टिविटीज where key activities involved in the SGSY. Next was the self-help group. In year 1992, NABARD, that is National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, introduced a pilot project for linking 500 self-help group with the bank after thorough discussion with RBI, commercial bank and non-government organization. So जो भी सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप है वो बैंक से लिंक किया जाता था from 1992. First it was started for a pilot basis in which only 500 self groups were linked, but nowadays almost all self help groups are linked with the commercial banks. Next program was for SFDA, that is Small Farmers Development Agency and Marginal Farmers and Agriculture Laborers Development Agency, that is MFL. So first we'll see about the SFDA. In 1969, RBI appointed All India Rural Credit Review Committee under the chairmanship of B. Venkat Pai. This committee recommended the establishment of SFDA and also MFAL, that is Marginal Farmer and Agriculture Laborers Development Agency and Small Farmers Development Agency. So these both are recommended by Venkat Pai Committee or All India Rural Credit Review Committee. The core philosophy of the SFDA was first to investigate and identify the problems of small farmers and ensure the various services to reach them. So जो भी उनके प्रॉब्लम्स है वो इन्वेस्टिगेट करना, आइडेंटिफाई करना और उन्हें इंश्योर करना कि उन्हें उस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए उन्हें सर्विसेज दी जाएगी. टू एंश्योर फार्मर्स सिक्योर लोन्स फ्रॉम कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स. थर्ड philosophy was to ensure the farmers have access to other assistance such as cooperative banks, improved seed, fertilizers and other input. This scheme was started in 1971-72 in the selected districts. So this was started in 1971-72 SFDA only in the selected districts. Now SFDA was financed by central as well as state government and provision of subsidy was made by the farmers. So जो भी सब्सिडी फार्मर्स को दी जाती थी उसमें सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट दोनों का भी कंट्रीब्यूशन था. एंड सब्सिडी वाज मेड फॉर फार्मर्स फ्रॉम 25%, नॉन ट्राइबल फार्मर्स को 25% एंड ट्राइबल फार्मर्स को 50%. SFDA was the first program in the country which there was proper linkage of central government, state government and the financial institution. Later in 1980 this program was merged again with the IRDP, that is Integrated Rural Development Program. Main functions of SFDA were first to identify the target groups, identify the target beneficiaries that are eligible small farmers, study and identify their problems, formulate suitable economic programs for making them viable, promote rural industries, provision of institutional credit and arrangement of extension of service and supply. So these were the functions of SFDA. Next is marginal farmers and agriculture laborers, that is MFAL scheme. The principal objective of this scheme is to assess the marginal cultivators in making the maximum productive use of small holdings by undertaking horticulture, animal husbandry and dairying. जो भी स्मॉल मार्जिनल फार्मर्स है जिनके पास लैंड कम होती है तो उन्हें प्रोडक्टिव हाई इनकम अर्न करने के लिए डाइवर्सिफिकेशन पे ज्यादा फोकस किया. Now, efforts are also to be directed towards bringing the larger incomes by challenging credits, improved inputs and improved practices. So these efforts are to be direct जो भी larger income को generate करें and also the use of improved inputs and improved practices. Now MFL has taken up in 40 selected districts 20,000 marginal farmers, that is with holdings up to 2.5 acres, and agriculture laborers are assisted in each project area with subsidized dairy, poultry, fishery, piggery, sheep rearing and horticulture operations. So 40 selected districts में ये स्कीम चालू की जाती है जिसमें 20,000 marginal farmers और agriculture laborers were assisted. And also the subsidy was given to the all agriculture allied activities. Now provision has also been made in this scheme for giving direct wage employment in off season to agriculture laborers in rural works for a productive nature. So जो भी ऑफ सीजन पीरियड था जिसमें एग्रीकल्चर एक्टिविटीज नहीं है तो वेज एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए वहां पे डिफरेंट स्कीम्स डायरेक्ट वेज एम्प्लॉयमेंट स्कीम्स लाए गए थे. The scheme is primarily market oriented and will also provide employment to landless agriculture laborers and also rural artisans. Now resources are made available to farmers participant in the shape of 33.3% subsidy from agencies and balance as the loan. जो भी resource थे वो 33% as a subsidy और बाकी की जो थी वो सारे loan लिया जाता. Main functions of MFL was first was the identification of eligible marginal farmers, investigation of their problems, formulation of economic programs, provision of institutional, financial and administrative support, creation and promotion of common facilities and evaluation of the program. So these were the functions of MFL.